Hello friends, welcome to Kamath Astrology. Today's topic is what will happen in 2025 and why it is different as compared to the other years. So in this video, we will do a deeper analysis. In this video, this will be an astrological analysis and we will see how this year is very different. What is the kind of energy that is active during this year and many other things as part of this video. So before we begin, wish all of you a very happy Makar Sankranti and may this sun transit in Capricorn bring a lot of happiness in your life. Now the Hindu New Year or Gudi Padwa this year falls on 30th March 2025 and this is a very important date. It indicates the start of a new year as per the Hindu calendar. Now just before the new year begins, that is on 29th March 2025, two important events are happening. One is there is a solar eclipse on this day and second is Saturn after 30 years is transiting into the sign of Mean or Pisces. And as Saturn enters this sign of Pisces, you can see 6 planets will be there in the sign of Pisces. That is Saturn, Venus, Mercury, Moon, Sun, Rahu, and if I include Neptune, it becomes 7 planets. Now, what is the sign of Pisces actually? The sign of Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac belt. It is the 12th sign in the natural zodiac. And this 12th sign represents an ending, an exit. The 12th sign is where material things end. And if you see the next sign after this, it is Aries, which indicates a new beginning, which is the first sign of the zodiac belt. And therefore in Vedic astrology, Pisces represents losses. When we say loss, it is the loss of material things such as wealth. It also indicates spirituality because without losing material things, you cannot really gain a spiritual insight. It is also the sign of giving away things. It is the sign of losing things. It is the sign of sacrifice. It is the sign of leaving things for a new beginning. Therefore, at the highest level, Pisces represents liberation or moksha. For a person who is trapped in the material world, this sign can indicate a kind of confinement also. It indicates isolation. Once you are isolated, you delve deeper inside yourself, and that is when you realize your true spiritual self. So this sign of Pisces represents jails, it represents monasteries, it also represents moksha and liberation. Now, as the year 2025 starts, I am saying the Hindu New Year, you can see almost 7 planets going into this sign. 7 planets are present in this sign, which means that the majority of the planetary energy for this year is concentrated in this sign. So like when you are born, to cast your horoscope, we look at your date of birth, time of birth, place of birth, and then we get the planetary positions, and based on that the Mahadashas, Antardashas are arrived at and predictions are made. Similarly, when this Hindu New Year starts, you can see a lot of planets are concentrated in this sign of Pisces, and that will be the energy that will hold true throughout this year. Which means that throughout the year, the 12th house of spirituality, liberation, moksha, material losses, is going to be highly active. Now, which is the planet which gets exalted in the sign of Pisces or becomes very powerful? Surprisingly, it is Venus or Shukra. Though it is in the sign ruled by Jupiter, sign of Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. Now, Venus on a material plane represents wealth, represents romance, and on the spiritual plane, it represents love. So, as I explained to you earlier, Pisces is the sign of material losses. So, here all the significations of Venus, which are related to the material plane, such as wealth, sexual desire, comforts, luxuries, those are lost. And the highest manifestation of Venus, that is unconditional love, thrives in this sign of Pisces. So, this is the year when spiritual awareness or consciousness will rise to the highest level. And that is what people are saying is the change of a Yuga or an era. But before anything new is created, there is a cycle of destruction. And so many planets in the sign of losses also shows there will be a lot of destruction at the material level. So recently we saw the wildfires in Los Angeles, California, and the kind of destruction that it brought about. So it is a kind of warning sign to humanity that no matter how much wealth you have, no matter how much power you have, no matter what position you hold in life, you are not in control of nature's ways. If nature wants to bring about something new, it is going to destroy what is old. And the only way you can survive that destruction is by elevating your consciousness, becoming more spiritually aware, connecting yourself more to humanity, and being a good human being. Now, some of the things that will happen in this year, first is Pisces represents the water element. So many planets are present in the spiritual waters of Pisces, and the nature of this sign is to raise spiritual awareness by giving material losses. So this indicates war on a large scale, destruction of that which is not needed through wars, earthquakes, as well as water related disasters such as floods and tsunamis. So the year 2025 will see a marked increase in all these natural disasters. Now, next thing to note is Saturn, who is the karma karaka or significator of your karma, the planet that gives you the fruits of your karma, is now entering the sign of Pisces. So, on a material plane, this indicates loss of jobs. Presence of Rahu here shows loss of jobs due to advances in technology such as AI. The presence of Moon with Saturn here shows there will be a lot of emotional disturbance during this time period. The presence of Venus here shows people will now turn towards God, towards spirituality. They will realize there is a third dimension beyond this material world. The presence of Sun with Saturn shows that many governments will be dissolved during this time period. Mars putting the 8th aspect on Pluto shows lot of protests by people against the government and change in the hierarchical structures. Mars aspecting Pluto with its 8th aspect also shows a lot of destruction that is about to come. The sign of Capricorn represents hierarchical structures, old structures. And now with Mars putting the 8th aspect on Pluto, it shows that these structures are going to be destroyed, these structures are going to be questioned, and some kind of new structure will eventually come into place over the coming years. The presence of Sun Saturn in Pisces with Rahu shows regime changes, and our egos will be dissolved to a large extent. So, if we are proud of our wealth, if we are proud that we have a big home, if we are proud that we hold a very high position in a corporate organization, then those misconceptions will now be shattered. Mercury's presence in the sign of Pisces shows the stock market will also undergo lot of downfall, lot of losses during this year. The economy will also have lot of problems during this year across the world. Now, the presence of Jupiter in the sign of Taurus is still a good sign for the Indian economy. But if you look at the overall world economy, it is going to be impacted in a big way. The stock markets will crash in many countries, and there will be huge scale job losses due to technology advances. So Rahu, Saturn present here in the sign of Pisces clearly indicates that. Jupiter present in the sign of Taurus shows that higher wisdom will come to mankind. Even those who are extremely wealthy, they will be forced to mend their ways and come on track. If you see the Navamsha also, Pluto is present in the Pisces Navamsha with the moon. Now Pluto indicates destruction followed by rebirth, and that is also seen through the Navamsha. You see the rising sign in the Navamsha, it is the sign of Cancer, and you have Saturn, Rahu and Jupiter there. This also shows lot of emotional turmoil in the world. You see the sign of Capricorn Navamsha, you have Uranus with Ketu there. And during this time, if you look at the D1 chart, 7 planets are aspecting Ketu. Even Jupiter is aspecting Ketu. Even Mars is aspecting Ketu. So almost all the planets are aspecting Ketu, which shows a rise in spiritual consciousness, but it also shows large-scale destruction through natural disasters in the year 2025. Look at the Gemini Navamsha, you will find Mars there. In fact, Mars is Vargottam, Mars is very powerful. He is occupying the same sign in the D1 chart and the D9 chart. And Mars indicates wars because it is 12th from the Navamsha Lagna. This year will indicate lot of losses through wars for mankind. So many planets aspecting Ketu shows a transfer of spiritual energy or some kind of spiritual consciousness rising throughout the world, and that is what is known as the change of a Yuga or the change of an era. So the year 2025, starting with a solar eclipse, starting with a Saturn transit in the sign of Pisces and having 6 planets in the sign of Pisces and all planets almost aspecting Ketu, makes it a very different year. So friends, that's all from my end. You can write to us at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com if you want to reach out to us, or you can also reach us through our website astroseva.tripod.com. So friends, thanks a lot. Bye. Take care and stay safe.